Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. Today is February 14th, Valentine Day. Hope everybody is having great Valentine with their family and their Valentines. So let's start our recap and daily teachings, guys. So another solid day. This was actually a really nice day. There were a lot of good setups which gave us nice follow through right in the morning. So anyways, a lot to discuss. Very profitable day. Most of the community was green today. But before I start, a quick introduction about me and what we do in these recap videos. Alright guys, these recap videos are the daily trades from my community, any trade ideas I share on Twitter, the trades I am taking or I am guiding my community, or any trades that are being traded by our traders on our trading floor. And that's what we're going to discuss, and we'll see where we lost money, where we made money, and what was our repeatable setup. Because we never trade random in our community, we always trade repeatable setup, repeatable system. We repeat same things again and again and again. So we will see what setups were that we traded today, and what setups worked and what setups failed for us. So we are going to discuss that every morning. Few hours before the market open, me and my team are up early. For the community, we go through a lot of news sources, we share a lot of news, pre-market movers, 1, 2, and macro news, analyst updates, upgrades, downgrades. We share everything with our community, starting to get ready for the day. And then I create a game plan for the day based upon news plays, earning plays, upgrades, downgrades, day 2, day 3 setups. This was the watch list for today. Uber, Lyft were the big ones for us today, and there was some shorts like AKAM, and day 2 CAR was another good one that we did today. So we'll discuss all that. Not only that, I also create levels for my community that I give them 15 to 20 minutes before the market open. Based upon these levels, we trade. And today those SMCI was a big level, was 820 was the level today on SMCI. So we'll talk about that. Usually in a trend market, these levels work out really good, so the traders can trade independently, take these levels, match them with their levels, and trade with them. So we use these levels with our Ripster EMA trading system to trade consistently. Apple and Microsoft were great examples of the shorts today, which we will discuss as well. So anyways, that said, and then at 9:30 I go on the voice for 2 hours, and I guide everybody through the market, through the trend, what I'm looking at, what are my trades, and then we trade based upon that. All right guys, that was the introduction. Let's start with the first play. I'm going to show you my timestamped guidance and how we traded it, and let's go. The first trade that we are going to discuss, guys, is LYFT. LYFT was, we also traded yesterday after hours, when in the community we traded from 16 bucks to 20 bucks, and then there was the CEO or CFO messed up, so there was a wrong number, so LYFT came right back down. Anyway, so LYFT was our number one play today, shared with the community. The plan was on LYFT was simple. The levels were 14 and 15.20. 15 was a big level. I told everybody only long with 14 holes. The breakout is over 15.20. The gap is under 14. So we are ready. We are ready for the play. We are ready for the play before the market opens. And let's see what happens. As soon as market opens, I see the strength. I see the gradual volume coming in. I see the strength coming in the lift. I tell everybody to scalp long. Initially we scalp long, and if it's working, then we add into the winning position, right? So then the 1550 calls were 60 cents or 70 cents around that time. And then it was all my guidance on the voice that hold the trade into 10 a.m. As you might know, those who watch my recaps, we always take our first profits into 10 a.m. We sometimes go to 3 minutes to analyze the trade. If you see 3 minutes for flagging, holding the trend, holding the 512 EMA Clouds, pushing back, holding. The target I gave everybody was 17 today, right? And we got to 1677, almost close to the target, and we'll talk about that end of the day push later. But this was our main trade, and 17 target. We took most off at 10 a.m. Then it pushed a little more closer to the 17. We took most out there. Let's see. And then when it started to break 512s, that's the time to completely get out, you know. And then later in the day it bounced from 34.50 and gave a nice reversal. But the main trade was this morning trade. 1550 calls went 100% from 60-70 cents. They went all the way to 135, 145. So this was a solid trade today on LYFT. Timestamp guidance you can see here. Easy trade, stress-free, beautiful, and we'll watch it tomorrow for our day 2 setup. Ideally it pushes, pulls back, holds too long. Let's go to the next one. All right guys, the next one we are going to look at is Uber. So let's go back. What was our plan on Uber? What was our game plan in the pre-market, and what was my guidance all day for the traders? So Uber was one of our star plays. They announced 7 billion share repurchase authorization. You know, that's always a huge news when they're announcing those kind of share repurchase program, you know. And of course Uber has no resistance, trading at all-time highs, so it was on high watch. I gave the 75 as a resistance pivot. I told everybody either wait on the pullback or trade the 75 breakout. So levels were clear, levels were defined, and it was all about executing once they trigger. So with that, we were ready for the Uber. So as soon as the market opened, you know, while I was trading the other things, I saw the volume coming in on Uber. Initially it pushed, right through the 75. It went right through 76.49, right? I missed that ad, but when it was pulled back, that's when I added, and it held the 75 breakout, right? That's when I told everyone that you can scalp that, you know, the second candle you can scalp as well. And I was talking on the voice that we can trade this long on the 75 breakout. So this was Uber was also a gap and go setup. You can see the breakout on daily chart. You know, if you can see the breakout all-time highs, no resistance, no reason to sell for anyone, and more investors coming in, breakout traders coming in. So it was a solid move here. Any shorts that were in that, they started to cover as well. The key thing to note here is that Uber was holding the 10-minute 512 Ripster clouds, and it was nice a breakout pattern as well when I noticed this pattern right here. And that's why I told people on the voice that, you know, we can trade the breakout. And our plan was simple, right? We got the plan in pre-market. So how you trade is you add here, you add for this breakout. You 10-minute clearly gives you a risk. You know, you can have the risk under low of the day. That's always a good risk, and you can always add into your position, right? Our first target that I gave everybody was 76.66. I gave the target at 10 a.m. right? 76.66 was the first target that I gave everyone, and by the time we hit that, you know, we were already at that target, over that target, much over that target. So in the next 3 minutes we hit that 76.66 target, right? So, and once we hit that, then I looked at my daily chart. I have a Fibonacci on Uber, so I drew some Fibonacci levels. So if you see that, that's how my targets were here on the Fibonacci. You see I have 78.84 as my Fibonacci target. So I gave everybody the 78.84 target right in the morning. You can see it's 10 a.m. and I'm giving the target to everyone. And then I also told that there's, you know, first initially we'll hit 78, the whole number. We did hit the whole number, and I told, and when we were breaking out, end of the day, when we were breaking out here, let me show you the end of the day breakout, right here. I told everyone to leave, you know, leave some for that breakout. And even after that breakout from 78, we went all the way to 79, and after hours we are trading much over 79. You know, I still have some swinging some, but you see the guidance, right? There was no reason to sell, and there was a reason to buy it back, you know, on this reversal or the breakout over here. All day you could trade that. Initial trade pullbacks, right? You know, it pulled back to the EMAs, pull back, right back, EMA reclaimed, and then, you know, over this trend line that I teach as a midday setup. So that was really good. Met all my targets. You see my 10 a.m. I gave the target, and by end of the day we met the Uber target. Let's now look at SMCI. It's time to look at SMCI. So what was the plan on SMCI? So we can talk about SMCI. The plan was simple. I told everybody when I saw it breaking out, I said long over the pivot. Long over the pivot. And let's go back to our pre-market sheet. The SMCI, the levels were 820 was a resistance pivot. So once it gets over the 820, that's a long, right? You put a $10 risk, or because it's a wide trade, and you let it work. And then my first target was 850. And then it was all about giving the targets. I was on the voice giving guidance today, and we hit from my 820 ads, we hit all the way to 885s. And not only that, once you had that initial trade done, SMCI gave a nice midday trade, right? Nice midday trade. I gave this alert that it's a flag break. I gave this flag break alert that as well to everyone, and then it breaks, holds it, and then pushes higher for all day trend on SMCI. There was no reason, you could always get back. At this point, I'm talking about SMCI, that it's like gamma squeeze happening, and no need to step ahead and get burnt on the short side unless you have a clear defined strategy, clear defined risk. At this point, even if it goes thousands, it won't be surprising because of the gamma squeeze. And then probably the fade from the fade will come. But when the fade will come, when the trend changes, that's the time we trade it short. Till that we trade it long. Look at the 1 hour trend on SMCI. Look here, right? It's not a short yet, guys. It's holding 1 hour trend. When the 1 hour trend breaks, that's the time we short it, and we will short it. Right now we are long. I've been sharing the call flow every day. We have our big call flow scanners which tell us how much calls are coming on SMCI, and everybody really did good. They did really good on that, those moves. So anyways, and it's still gapping. 900 was, I told everybody it's a 900 target coming. That's the target I gave everybody, on the voice, this, and it came, and you can see how everybody was doing great in SMCI, in the community. James did good, Taramred did good. He had one of his biggest days, because the point is we stay with the trend. We stay with the trend. We do not try to, Asha really did good. We do not try to fight the trend. We do not try to fight the trend. If it's good, if it's long, it's long. We don't have to short it, and we don't think it's too high or too low. When the time comes to short it, we will short it. But anyways, guys, you can see the timestamp guidance and pre-market notes, repeatable process. I personally like shares more right now, but when time is right, we will buy the puts. Let's see how tomorrow goes. Alright guys, next one is CAR card. If you watched my yesterday's video recap, I clearly told everyone that we will short card today, that we will play the day 2 setup on CAR card. I hope somebody watched it and traded it based upon my guidance from yesterday on CAR card. So the card, that was the plan. Let's go back to our plan. What was the plan? The day 2 card, if rejects the pivots, can fade under the pivot. Right? What did it reject? It rejected the clouds. It rejected the clouds right there. That was 133. That's the pivot I gave. I gave that 133 pivot. Right away it rejected that, and then it was a short. When it does it, you take a short right away. You put your risk somewhere here, and then you add your short on the pre-market when it breaks. I told everyone in first 10 minutes. Nice rejection, day 2 short. 125 target is what I gave everyone, and after 125 I told everybody roll into 120s or some other strikes, right? So even the 125s today went from $2 to $6. That was 400%, 200% gain on those $2 options. And when we rolled into those 120s, even those, those went doubled up from the midday. They went from like $2 to all the way to $3.03. So that's how you trade it, guys. Repeatable setups, and a lot of people did really good on car in the community. Really proud of that, because we play repeatable setups, repeatable again and again and again. Very proud of the community, and that's how we do it. So let's look at hood. What was the plan? Initially I was bullish on hood, but I was wanted the pivot break. So let's do the plan. Hood was bullish neutral. The pivot is 1384. Only 1384 breakout. Long under the clouds it can pull back. And what did it do? Right at the morning I was watching to see if it confirms, but it never confirmed me. And right away in first 4 minutes I told everybody that I am not interested, I'm avoiding it. And then it finally gave up the clouds, and that's when it was a short. And if you see my guidance here, the level on the hood, that 1310 and 1260, then 1310 gave up. It really faded, good short scalps there. So we shorted scalps right when this candle was there. Tape gave some nice shorts on the trading floor. So nothing big, but just some small short scalps there, right? It was not a long once it could not break. So the setup became from gap and go to gap and fade, even though it did not fade enough because there was not enough room from this 1330 breakdown of 50 EMAs to 1280s, and then it recovered and we got out. It was just barely a chump change, but there was still a decent setup there. So let's look at the next one. So the next one we're going to look at is, one second here, guys. Let's look at Zillow. Zillow was a losing idea today. It was pushing, and I was looking at the pullback ads. It pulled back, added here, tried to push, then right away broke down the 512. It did not work, as you can see, and I stopped out. Took $1.50 loss and just moved on. You see this, when the setup is not showing you higher lows, you see lower highs. That's not what you want. You want higher highs or at least higher lows, and then the setup is not going to work when this happens. So it's time to get out. And when you draw a trend line, you clearly see a downtrend that tells you the stock is going down. So why do you want to add the stocks that's going down? Admit your mistake, get out, take a loss. There are better trades, longs out there. Let's look at AKAM. What was the plan on AKAM? AKAM earning beat, revenue miss, sale guidance was not that great. Support was 120, 118, and resistance was 122. Bearish to neutral was my bias. I told everybody do not long under 22, under 118. It can fade more. And look what happened. Rejected, and I told everybody if it fades under the lows, it can fade all day. What was the pivot I gave to everyone? 118. And you take as soon as it breaks, you take a starter and it tries to push, it fails, you add into that short, and then you fade it all the way from 117 all the way to 114. $3 per share short. You risked barely 50-60 cents, and you made 3-4 times your risk if you were trading those shares, right? And even if you were in some the puts, and the small account, the 115 puts moved, they were kind of illiquid, but they still moved from 50 cents to over $1.40, almost like 100% move there on those AKM puts. All right, guys, let's look at UPST. So UPST, what was the plan? UPST, the plan was simple. The plan was neutral bias. The levels were pretty wide. Resistance was at 29.40. The support was 27.40, 24.50. I said only long if clouds hold. Otherwise, it can pull back to the lower range. And that's what happened, right? The resistance I gave, look here at my resistance. The resistance I gave 27.40, 24.50, and where is it? 27.40, yeah. So it could not really hold that resistance pivots, and it pulled back. Right away it pulled back from pre-market highs. You can see there, right here, it was supposed to be a typo. It was supposed to be 29.40 there. And of course there was a support here, 27.40. Let's go back, look again. Yes, resistance 29.40. Exactly from that resistance, exactly 29.40 was the resistance, and it breaks the pivot and it fades from there, 27.90 all the way down to $25. Decent $2 short, you know, $2 short per share, stress free, beautiful trade. In the room was KHC, it was Kraft Heinz. The plan was simple: bearish to neutral. The support was 34.75. As soon as that support gives up, you short it from 34.75 all the way to 33.67, almost $1 short there for you on KHC. Similar play to KHC was MGM. You can see I told everybody right in the morning that they are the good shorts, right? I try to, when I see some setup triggering working, I make sure I tell the community. And same was for MGM. Look at the pivot. It's all about pivots, guys. You know when a pivot is breaking, you have to take the short, right? And if it's gone, you can't get a good entry, you leave it. If you get a good entry, you hold that entry. So 43.50 and 43 were the support levels. And of course, you could short the initial rejection, but when then 43 level breaks or 43.50 level breaks, you take a short. So initial pivot from 43.50 and a decent fade to 41.68. You could have easily risked like 70-80 cents and made close to, you know, $1.70 or $1.80 on this trade. All right, guys, let's now look at Airbnb. So what was the plan on Airbnb? Let's go back and look at that, right? So my plan on Airbnb was, let's go. My plan was, you know, levels were wide, neutral bias, only long if the 10-minute clouds turn green. So I was looking to short it. So when it flushed here, I took a short, it pushed, again took a short, and then, you know, it started to hold up. 10.27, sideways. So when it was doing that, I got out, right? I mean, I think I was a little loser there on the shares, nothing big, but I got out because it was curling, and our rules are simple. When it's curling, it's a long, it's not a short. And I told everyone I was taking trading floor that once it crosses that, you should get out of the short and you take the long. You see that if you miss this, you got this retest. Look at this retest, push retest. So this was one of those midday reversal setups that I often talk about. Midday reversal setups. I also covered this setup in webinars. This is a midday reversal setup over the clouds. So that is the setup, midday reversal setup over the clouds. Short loser, long idea worked. My target that I gave everybody was 149.40 and almost touched that target by end of the day. All right, guys, let's look at Apple and Microsoft short. I've been talking that Apple is heavy since morning. I told everybody they are heavy, and they are under our pivots. What were the two levels that I gave everyone this morning? Apple was 185, 180.45 support pivot, and 407.60 was on Microsoft. Apple breaks that support pivot right away, and you take the short with full confidence right away. Even after 10 minutes, I told everybody it's a short, it's a short scalp, super heavy, short scalp, super heavy, and all day short from 185 to 182 there. You know, if you were in the puts, they went 100%. You know, same for Microsoft. I gave that level on Microsoft here. If you look at it, you know, I gave those levels on Microsoft initially in the morning. What did Microsoft do? Microsoft breaks to that 407.60 level, and then it fades to the 404. And of course, it has to bounce here. That's your target because of yesterday's lows. That's what I teach. Look at this support, right? So it started to curl. It started to curl and help the market a little bit. But the point is, these are stress-free trades. You know, Apple was selling hard and stress-free trades. And you just risk your level. And you don't have to trade anything, right? My main trades were 3 or 4 out of all the lists we discussed. But you trade what you like. And I'm sharing all my ideas, all my guidance. There's so many, you know, you see our losers, they are small, they're less. Winners are more and bigger. So that's how you find consistency, because we play repeatable setups, guys, day in, day out. All right, guys, quick look at MSTR and coin. MSTR and coin was, I talked about the 150 psychological level in the pre-market. I gave that MSTR Lotto watch. BT keeps pushing. 148 Bitcoin support, 720, 750. All the levels on MSTR and coin I gave in the pre-market. And with the Bitcoin strong, you have to trade that. You could have traded the first MSTR push. I gave the 750 pivot, you got pushed to 770. Pulled back, that's fine. But then it bounced from 3450 midday setup and look at where it's going. And I told them that we can easily go to 800. I was talking about on the voice about both these MSTR and other one, because if you look at BTC USD, this is the breakout. This is the breakout. I need to find a chart that I shared in the morning. Was the I gave this BTC breakout few weeks back, last week. So you can see that this breakout. Oh, let me find the tweet. So if you look at my tweet on the BTC USD, right? I talked about this breakout and I talked about coin, MSTR, Lotos, and this breakout from 44,000 to 45,000, 48,000. And then I talked about 50K breakout, and today the 50K breakout as well, worked out nicely, So that was MSTR and coin. Yeah, then. So all right, let's talk about SPY now. Okay, so what did SPY do with us today, guys? So SPY was simple, guys. SPY again was simple. Again, it was SPY VIX strategy. Everybody was trading the SPY VIX strategy. SPY pushed higher. I'm not going to spend too much time. I covered all this yesterday in great detail. But you see every time once SPY was pushing in the morning, that's fine. That's a long one there. And I did give that long in the community as well. If you see, I was talking about when SPY broke under 14, right? When it breaks under 15, and the levels on the VIX. Let's look at VIX planning. So 1450, yeah. So I gave the level 1450. When it breaks under 1450, then it's a long. You trade the long, and then it starts to curl, right? Right here, it starts to curl. VIX gets bullish, and that's when you scalp short. It breaks this 512, breaks the clouds, you scalp short. And then later end of the day, it tested 15 few times. And end of the day, it rejected 15, and then SPY pushed, right? So initially it was in this choppy range. Nice squeeze in end of the day. So you can see my guidance on the VIX, SPY, how you trade SPY and QQQ with the VIX with 1450, 15 levels. It was a decent trades today. I even shared a lot of my teachings on Twitter today. You can see I shorted the calls, and I was guiding. Along the calls, and I was 100% on SPX. Then I was short on the puts that were almost 100%, and I shared all this guidance in community on the voice, and also tweeted step by step about the key levels on SPY and VIX. Decent day, guys, at the bigger level. Market decent day. I think tomorrow we might have a nice follow through if market pushes. There's still little gap to push, so we might get some follow through tomorrow, guys. So great day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. If you want to trade with me, come join my community. Come for education and guidance. Do not come for alerts. Take care. Bye bye. See you.